So behind me here is a grove of hardwood trees, mostly white oaks and a few other sweet gums and other hardwood trees. And I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I keep the understory kind of clean, except for this one plant that Hannah really likes called a beautyberry. I don't know if that's the real name or not. I just know that's what Hannah calls it. And she likes it a lot, so I try when I see a clump of beautyberries, and they grow in groups of 10 or 20, I try to leave them all there so that when the springtime comes around, they make this really pretty purple bloom. They grow in clumps of 10 or 20, and usually a clump will cover an area half the size of a regular car. But they grow these really pretty purple berries, and in the spring they'll light up the forest floor with all of those purple berries, and it really is pretty. Also, what they do is give cover. For right over there is my bathroom window, and it's not uncommon for me to look out here and see deer foraging in the understory. And on occasion I have come out of the house and walked out here, maybe to go for a walk in the woods or go down to the pond, and I have startled a mama and her fawn, and mama will run off into the woods, and the fawn's instinctive reaction is to run to a cluster of those beautyberries and lay down. And concealed in the camouflage of the canopy of beautyberries, the fawn thinks it is safe in the weeds. You know, the point of today's devotional, as you read about young Eli is a real friend of mine. I just changed his name because I didn't want to disclose his personal information. He told me I could share the story. He just asked me not to share his name. And that story really did happen, and he had shared it with me time and again, and I thought it was a fitting story for this devotional. Just as Eli ran to the safety of the cover of the tree, we see fawns run to the safety of the cover of the beautyberries. And in life, oftentimes when we are struggling or weary or startled or just want to be reclusive, we run for the safety of something. And the real question is, the difficult question is are we running to the safety of the weeds or the protection of a strong fortress? You know, Proverbs 29:25 reminds us that the fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. Our fear is a snare. Our fear will encapsulate us and surround us, and it becomes a prison of sorts sometimes. Sometimes you've heard people say, I was so scared I didn't know what to do. Well, that's a prison. That's a time in life where fear has surrounded you and overcome you, and you just don't know what to do next. Sometimes it's financial fear, right? Sometimes it's relationship fear. Sometimes it's business or employment fear. Sometimes it's just fear of gossip or you know, people just being mean, people just being bullies. All those are rational fears. They're all things that you should rightly be concerned about. We do need to worry about where our next paycheck's going to come from, or how we're going to pay our bills, or are my kids going to be okay, or am I going to be able to afford to send them to college, or are they going to get a good job, or this one I worry about a lot, are they going to marry a God-fearing man? But if I worry about that all the time, if I worry about it so much that it just completely covers me up, that it hides me so well that even my children can't see me, then what good have I done? Trust in the Lord, for He is safe, friends. I can tell you, I've been praying for my girls' husbands for years. I know Hannah has too. You know, we don't know who those men will be, but we pray for them faithfully because we trust that God will provide. I can tell you that I am no special person. I'm just a regular guy. I have an unkempt beard and I like long hair, and I say ain't, and you know what, I don't like to wear a tie. I'm nothing special. Everything I have is because God somehow saw fit to bless me with it. And I have been blessed. You know what? He's always taken care of my financial needs. He's always taken care of my children. And he's always belayed every worry I've ever had. But remember this, friends. A fear of what we need, a fear of doing without something we need, that's rational. A fear of not getting what we want, that may be sinful. And we have to be careful as we trust in God to provide for our needs, not to get angry at him because he doesn't provide for our wants. And so, you know what I want today is I want you to have the comfort of knowing that you don't have to hide in the weeds to escape your fears. I want you to have the comfort of knowing that whatever weeds you might be hiding in, they're not a strong fortress, but he is. So go to him and take your problems to him and tell him and let him handle them because he's safe. I love you guys. I hope you have a great Sunday. It's getting dark here. I'm fixing to finish up a few chores before the sun goes down, and I'm going to try to get me a good night's rest because even though there are things that worry me, I sleep well at night knowing that God's in control. You should too. Have a great day.